In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on October 15, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Carolina Panthers versus Miami Dolphins. The winless Carolina Panthers journey south to take on the Miami Dolphins this weekend. A win for the first-place Dolphins will help them maintain their lead over the Buffalo Bills in the American Football Conference East. Game time is set for Sunday, October 15th at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The Carolina Panthers come into this one searching for their first win at 0-5 after a 42-24 loss to Detroit last time out. Bryce Young has thrown for 750 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions on 63.9% passing, while Andy Dalton has thrown for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns on 58.6% passing. Miles Sanders has a team-high 190 rushing yards, and Chuba Hubbard has 154 rushing yards. Adam Thielen leads Carolina in receiving with 394 yards and 38 receptions with 3 touchdowns, while 4 more Panthers have 100-plus receiving yards as well this season. On defense, Von Bell has a team-high 33 total tackles, while Brian Burns has 4 sacks. Yetur Gross-Matos and Frankie Louvu each have 2.5 sacks. The Miami Dolphins improved to 4-1 on the year, taking out the New York Giants by a final score of 31-16 last time out. Tua Tagovailoa has thrown for 1,614 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions on 71.7% passing, while Devon Achane has a team-high 460 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns, and Raheem Mostert has 314 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill leads Miami's receiving group with 36 receptions for 651 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Jalen Waddle has 245 receiving yards, and 3 more receivers for the Dolphins have 100-plus receiving yards as well on the year. On defense, Jevon Holland has a team-high 43 total tackles, while Andrew Van Ginkel has a team-high 4 sacks, and Zach Sealer has 3 sacks this season. This game between the Panthers and the Dolphins is on blowout watch. Usually, sharks smell blood in the water, but in this case, it is the Dolphins. On one hand, you have a team that is circling the drain on the 2023 season. Little injuries are starting to pop up for the Panthers, and frustration is visibly surfacing. First-year Panther head coach Frank Reich is already starting to feel the pressure. On the other hand, you have a team that is leading the league in multiple offensive categories and are looking to put the hammer down on their opponent in front of their home crowd. A 14-point line in the NFL is generally a rigid line to cross. Most handicappers refuse to lay the 2-touchdown chalk. In this game, we are looking at 13.5. Though the Dolphins are flying high, they have come down in altitude over the last couple weeks, especially in the game against Buffalo. Look for Miami to air it out in this game and reestablish their swagger. An important note about this game is the fact that Miami goes on the road next week to face one of the NFL's top teams, the Philadelphia Eagles. That means that Miami could use this game against the Panthers as sort of a resting game in preparation, overlooking the Panthers. Tyreek Hill's rest day this week, instead of practicing, could point toward that. However, Miami's offense is not generally one that relies on trickery and surprise. They are fast, athletic, and come right at you. This means there is no point in Miami rolling out a vanilla offense against the Panthers, hiding their game plan from the upcoming Eagles. Look for the Dolphins to use the game against the Panthers to push their offense in preparation for that game next week. Additionally, the Dolphins face the Denver Broncos in the game before they travel to the Buffalo Bills, equally an important game, and ran up the score in that match to a historic 70 points. Ultimately, the Dolphins are 4-1 on the season and 4-1 against the spread. When they win, they cover. Additionally, Miami has covered more than 14 points in their last 2 games, one which were both played at home against better teams than the Panthers. The Dolphins will give their home fans a show this weekend. Any concerns about the Dolphins' run game without Achane will be silenced on Sunday, as I expect Mostert to have a field day toting the rock. The 31-year-old averages 5.4 yards per carry and is tied with Christian McCaffrey for the NFL lead in rushing scores. He'll have no problem executing against Carolina's 26th-ranked run defense. Miami has converted over 75% of its red zone trips into scores, partially because of Mostert's knack for finding the end zone. The Panthers' offense won't keep pace with Miami, even if Young has a turnover-free afternoon. It's unlikely that will be the case, though, as the Finns' pass rush will make the rookie's day difficult. He may be able to get his short passing game going, but that will make Carolina even more one-dimensional. With Sanders questionable to suit up, the run game isn't going to be a factor. The MO for the Dolphins this season more often than not has been beat up on the bad teams, and I hate to break it to the Panthers, but they might be the worst of the bunch. This is a massive line for a professional game, but I see no reason to back the Panthers here. The Dolphins are just the far better team, and I look for them to show it here. So the Miami Dolphins to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Dolphins will not take pity on the Panthers, as Tagovailoa will dissect their secondary and Mostert will deliver a punch on the ground. I'm confident Miami will be out to prove it's still the league's best offense without a chain, utilizing its array of weapons to score on Sunday. Heck, even new addition Chase Claypool could get in on the fun, and that's saying something considering his no-show act this season with the Bears. Miami should have a great day of scoring in this game in front of their home crowd. The Carolina Panthers are coming into this game with quite a few starters listed as questionable. Look for Mostert to have a good day against that beaten-up defensive line. The question for this total is, are the Carolina Panthers going to score enough? As fun as this game will be for Dolphins fans, Panthers supporters will only be watching to see if Young and company will show some heart. Even though Bryce Young has struggled with turnovers this season, the Panthers continue to identify as a passing team. They are third in the league for pass attempts, averaging about 40 a game, and fifth in the league with 25 completions. This means either the Panthers are moving the ball or the clock stops, extending the game. Additionally, the Miami Dolphins have only grabbed 2 interceptions so far this season. This means that Young has a chance to hold on to the ball and engineer a few scoring drives. It's not going to be pretty, but if the Alabama product can hold up against the Miami pass rush, he may have a few opportunities for splash plays against the Dolphins secondary. As long as Carolina gets on the board fairly early, it will have plenty of opportunities to add to its score. If both teams only hit their average score per game, 36 for the Dolphins and 18 for the Panthers, the sum of these scores goes well over the posted total of 47. It is probable that both teams score more than their average. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. New England Patriots versus Las Vegas Raiders. Two American Football Conference teams hungry for a win face-off on Sunday afternoon when the New England Patriots head west to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Patriots got run off their own field last week, losing 34-0 to the Saints as 2-point favorites. The Raiders just picked up a much-needed home win over the Packers 17-13, covering the spread as a 1-point favorite. These teams met last season in Week 15 with the Raiders winning 30-24 at home. The New England Patriots look for their second road win to rebound from a 1-4 start. The Patriots have lost 4 of their last 6 road games. Mac Jones is completing 62.5% of his passes for 1,008 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry have combined for 394 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, while Demario Douglas has 10 receptions. The New England Patriots' ground game is averaging 83.8 yards per contest, and Ramondre Stevenson leads the way with 188 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, New England is allowing 26 points and 298.4 yards per game. Ja'Whaun Bentley leads the New England Patriots with 36 tackles. Matthew Judon has 4 sacks and Christian Gonzalez has 1 interception. The Las Vegas Raiders look for a second home win to get back to a .500 record. The Raiders have split their last 10 home games. Jimmy Garoppolo is completing 68.8% of his passes for 917 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Devontae Adams and Jacoby Meyers have combined for 716 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, while Josh Jacobs has 23 receptions. The Las Vegas Raiders' ground game is averaging 71.4 yards per contest, and Jacobs leads the way with 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, Las Vegas is allowing 23 points and 326.6 yards per game. Robert Spillane leads the Las Vegas Raiders with 42 tackles. Max Crosby has 5 sacks, and Amick Robertson has 1 interception. Jimmy G and the Raiders got a victory on Monday Night Football against one of the most flawed operations in the NFL. Pardon my slow clap. A win is a win, but there isn't much that impressed us about the victory on Monday night. The Raiders still can't run the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing more interceptions than he ever has in his career, and it took 3 Jordan Love turnovers for Vegas to end with a lead in Week 5. What do we gather from this? If the Raiders have ideal conditions, they can beat average teams. Meanwhile, no team is under more scrutiny than the New England Patriots after Week 5. In perhaps one of their most embarrassing losses in recent memory, the Patriots were decimated 34-0 last Sunday. In front of an excited stadium at Gillette Stadium, cheers quickly turned to boo birds as New England somehow only mustered 156 total yards in a scoreless showing. Last season in Week 15, the Patriots fell to the Raiders by 6 points in Vegas. Pundits are all over Bill Belichick and Mac Jones, speculating on their respective futures or lack thereof. What's more, media heads are again questioning how elite a coach Belichick really was during the Pats' many Super Bowl runs. This is a multi-tier redemption and revenge spot for Belichick and his team. Their defense is still top 10 in yards per run and pass, even after facing some exceptional offenses, and we expect more creativity and nuance inserted into an offense that desperately needs it. We are catching both teams at extremes. New England is coming off 2 terrible games. Belichick will have his team refocused with a better plan in the Las Vegas game. The Patriots will have a better strategy to slow down Max Crosby, as he lived in the backfield last week against Green Bay. Belichick has also shown that he is willing to pull Mac Jones. If this happens, do not be surprised if the team rallies around Bailey Zappe, who showed flashes of capable quarterback play last season. The Raiders, on the other hand, are coming off a nationally televised win over the Packers, but Garoppolo is still turnover-prone, and Josh Jacobs looks like a shadow of his old self. One of Belichick's philosophies is to take away your best weapon and make the others beat them, so the Patriots will zone in on Davante Adams and force Garoppolo to look elsewhere for success. There's only one way to look in this contest, and it's not like the Raiders are world beaters. We'll take the points in what will be a close and ugly game, so the New England Patriots to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Sunday's total between the Patriots and Raiders is low for a reason. The Patriots' offense is an obvious part of that number. Over the last few weeks, New England has accumulated some of the worst offensive marks in the NFL. They've been outscored 72-3 in their last 2 games. 21 of those points were achieved by the enemy defense. Matt Jones has added to the debacle, throwing 24 of 43, 260 yards, and 4 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. While we expect some positive regression, it simply can't get any worse. We're also not anticipating the Patriots to pile up points this Sunday either. It's worth noting that the Patriots played 2 top-tier defenses, one on the road, in Weeks 4 and 5. In Week 6, that will not be the case. The only elite part of the Raiders' defense is Max Crosby, and the Vegas offense isn't anything too spectacular either. Vegas is ranked 29th in points and yards per game. Davante Adams is still banged up, and their run game has yet to take off. We also anticipate a better performance from the New England defense, a unit that still has plenty of talent despite some of its recent injuries. Not to mention, they're coming off a game where they allowed 27 unanswered points to the opposing offense. Each team has played 5 games, and each team has gone under the total in 4 of those games. This is also a matchup of 2 of the 4 worst scoring teams in the league. Both teams are averaging under 16 points, and neither looks prepared to score big here. New England and Belichick will fix their defense faster than their offense. The Patriots' plan to shut down Davante Adams will leave Garoppolo searching for answers he cannot find. The Patriots have not gone over since Week 1 against Philadelphia, and Las Vegas will not be the team to break that trend. This is going to be a game, oddly enough, won on the ground. Neither of these quarterbacks are good, frankly, and the receiving core that accompany them are equally as bad. The Pats have just 4 passing plays over 25 yards or more this season, while the Raiders have just 3. This is going to be a boring, grinded-out game, or there will be a lot of 3-and-outs. The under is 1-4 for both teams this season, due in large part to these 2 offenses being putrid. Put them together and I don't expect a whole lot of scoring. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Lions versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Detroit Lions are on the road to battle the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a National Football Conference bout on Sunday afternoon. The Lions posted a dominating home win against the Panthers in their previous bout. The Buccaneers earned a home win against the Saints and had their bye last week. These combatants last met in 2020 in a game the Bucs won. The Detroit Lions for a fourth straight win to improve to 5-1 on the year. The Lions have won 3 straight road games. Jared Goff is completing 69.8% of his passes for 1,265 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds have combined for 622 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, while Sam Laporta has 25 receptions. The Detroit Lions ground game is averaging 141 yards per contest, and David Montgomery leads the way with 371 yards and 6 touchdowns. Defensively, Detroit is allowing 21 points and 292.8 yards per game. Alex Anzalone leads the Detroit Lions with 35 tackles. Aiden Hutchinson has 4.5 sacks, and Jerry Jacobs has 3 interceptions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are fresh off a bye week and look to get off to a 4-1 start. The Buccaneers have won 4 of their last 6 home games. Baker Mayfield is completing 69.6% of his passes for 882 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have combined for 592 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, while Cade Otton has 12 receptions. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers ground game is averaging 87 yards per contest, and Rashad White leads the way with 206 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, Tampa Bay is allowing 17 points and 318.5 yards per game. Antoine Winfield Jr. leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 31 tackles. Vita Vea has 3.5 sacks, and Christian Izien has 2 interceptions. This should be one of the most exciting games of NFL Week 6. Both teams have made great starts to the season, with the Lions coming in at 4-1 and the Buccaneers at 3-1 after their early bye last week. Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield has rejuvenated his career in Tampa Bay, but both teams in this matchup have solid defenses. As a result, I'm expecting a relatively low-scoring affair, with both teams trying to run the ball. The Lions have been great at doing that this season, with running back David Montgomery proving to be a great signing. He has really put this team on his back over the last couple weeks, while rookie Jahmyr Gibbs has been battling an injury and already has 6 rushing touchdowns. The Buccaneers have loved what they have seen from Mayfield so far, and he has developed a good connection with receivers Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Todd Bowles is a fantastic defensive coach, and giving him an extra week to prepare for this respectable Lions offense should play a huge factor here. Detroit also comes into this game quite banged up, having a laundry list of players in the injury list. Most importantly, it's receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown and tight end Sam Laporta. Bowles' defense currently has the 4th highest blitz rate, so if Jared Goff doesn't have his top targets, or they're at least not 100%, Tampa's defense could excel. The Detroit Lions are playing the better ball, and they've won twice on the road this season, so it's no surprise they're favored. However, the Bucs have been a surprise through the first quarter of the season, and they get after it defensively. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 11th in total defense and 8th in scoring defense. The Buccaneers have also had an extra week to prepare for this game. The Bucs could do enough in this game to take it down to the wire, and I favor the Buccaneers at home. They have surprised a lot of people this season and have been good at avoiding turnovers. I'll take the Bucs getting a useful start at home. Detroit may still sneak out of Florida with a victory, but I don't think it'll be by more than a field goal. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both of these teams like to put together long drives which bleed the clock. I see a lot of field goals being kicked in this game too. The way these offenses play is unspectacular, with lots of checkdowns and extended drives. I'm not sold on the Buccaneers offense scoring a lot of points, and they know if they want to win this game they are going to have to keep the Lions offense off the field and dominate possession. The Lions have been running the ball a lot, and that's why they have been successful. But this Buccaneers defense has been very good against the run. While the Bucs are off to a 3-1 start, it hasn't really been their offense that has powered the way. They're just 20th overall in points per game. There are still questions surrounding Baker Mayfield, considering his wins are against the Vikings, Bears, and Saints, who had Derek Carr weigh less than 100% healthy. I think we're going to see both defenses rise up. From a trends perspective, the under is 5-2 in Detroit's last 7 games against National Football Conference South opponents. Tampa Bay has played to the under in 13 of their last 17 contests against National Football Conference opponents. Both teams have big play potential, so we may see a few long touchdowns, but ultimately, this game should stay under 6 touchdowns. This game could have plenty of 3-and-outs, and this number looks too high. Both of these defenses come into this game ranked in the top 10 in the NFL, so don't expect an offensive shootout in this matchup. I'm looking for something like a 20-17 game. This game has underwritten all over it. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.